In this video, we're going to go through on Catholic High School Preliminary Examination 2024 Primary 6 Mathematics Paper 2. So let's get started on the first question. It says here the square grid shows the position of points A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Which point is east of point B? So first, we can put here north, south, and then east and west over here. Okay. So which point is the east of point B? So if you were to have B over here, north, south, and then east is over here, which is C in this case. Okay, so that means the point is C. Right, not X, there's no X, by C. Okay, let's move on to the next question, part B. Elijah stood at one of the points facing point D, right, facing point D, right? After she turned 45 clockwise, she faced point, if I'm not wrong, this is F or E, right? It should be, yeah. So which point was Elijah standing? So this is F over here. Okay, so that means in this case, she was facing point D, so any point, but after that she's point F. So over here, she then point this way. In this case over here. So which point do you think from here? She turned clockwise as well. So clockwise means this way. So it's this way. Clockwise. And it says 45 degrees. Okay. So that means it's half of a, what do you call this? Half of a 90 degrees, right? So if I were to have A over here, we can see from A to F, is it 45 degrees? Right, from here, you can see that it's half. So that means this is 45 degrees, which is in this case correct. If you were to use G and F, right, it's not exactly 45. So in this case, A is the correct one. In this case over here, I'm going to put like this, right, 45 degrees. So the answer to this is point A. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. So write and measure the length of PQ over here to the nearest 0.1 centimeters. So let me draw this out so that it's easier to see. Okay, so you can see that there's the ruler over here. If I were to measure from P to Q like this, roughly, it's actually around if you could see over here, it's around 8.8 centimeters. So 8.5, 6, 7, and then 8, touching the 8 over here, right? So the answer to this is 8.8 centimeters. Okay, now we need to measure PRQ. All right, so if you were to zoom this in, okay, so it's roughly around, in this case, 106. Okay, so it's not 80, because more than 90. So in this case, this is 100 and roughly around 6 degrees. So we're going to put here 106 degrees. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. The ratio of the length of stick W to the length of stick Y is 9 is to 8. Find the length of stick W. So if I were to visualize it, okay, so in this case over here, you have this stick and this stick, right? And then you have the arrow 1.7 centimeters. So this one as well, 1.7 and 2.19 in this case over here. So if I were to rearrange them to this, okay, and to this, so that means the difference is here, okay, like this. So this and this and this over here, okay. So this is just another way to create a difference in this case over here, right? So this is W, and then this is Y, and then W and Y, this is 2.9, right, centimeters, and that is 1.7. Okay, so from here we also know that the W is 9 units. I'm gonna put here 9 units. Okay, and this is 8 units as well, like this. Okay, so I think from here, I think we can solve this, right? So over here, 9 units minus 8 units is equal to 2.9 minus 1.7. Okay, and this will become 1 unit equal to 2.9 minus 1.7 equal to 1.2. Okay, so from here, find the length of W. So W is equal to 9 units, which is 9 times 1.2. Can use our calculator. So let's use our calculator here. 9 times 1.2. This will give us 10.8 centimeters. 8 centimeters. Okay. And that's the answer, 10.8. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. Okay. Question number 4 says here Terry used 1 centimeter cubes to form a cuboid measuring 45 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 20 centimeters. He painted all the faces of the cuboid. How many 1 centimeter cubes in the cuboid have only 2 of the faces painted? Okay, so there's this 2 faces painted formula. Okay, for specifically cuboid. Okay, so just remember this. Basically, it's just 4 times bracket. Okay, so length minus 2 plus breadth minus 2 plus height minus 2. That's it. Okay, so that means it's just 4 times, and then the length is basically 45 minus 2, right, plus 30. Oops. 30 minus 2 plus 20 minus 2. Okay, so we can use our calculator. 45 minus 2 plus, oops, plus 30 minus 2 plus 20 minus 2. Okay, this will be 89. Okay, so it's 4 times 89, which is equal to, so you multiply this by 4. Okay, it gives us 356. That's about it, right? So in a way, no need to understand this, but just this, remember this formula basically. Let's move on to question number 5. Daryl has a roll of stickers. There is a total of 55 star-shaped and heart-shaped stickers on it. Okay, so at least 3 star-shaped stickers are found between any 2 heart-shaped. Okay, I think I have stars. So 1. Okay, and then so duplicate this, and then we have heart shape as well. So we have 1 of this, and then we have 1 of this as well. Okay, okay. So what is the largest possible number of heart shaped stickers on the roll of the stickers? So it will look something like this, lah, right? 1, 2, like this, and then I'll just put here dot dot dot. Okay, so in this case, first is find a repeating pattern. So this is step 1. Okay, find repeating pattern. So this is the repeating pattern over here. So this is repeating pattern turn over here. So that means one repeating pattern is equal to 1 hearts plus 3 stars. Okay, over here. Okay, so now we know there is a repeating pattern like this between 2 heart shapes. So and then just divide like number of groups, repeating pattern, right? Okay, so in this case will be 55. Okay, divided by, okay, number of repeat, so which is equal to 4 shapes, right? So number of repeating is 55 divided by 4. And in this case, let's see, 55 divided by 4, this will give us 13.75. 13. Okay, so 7 out of 5 is basically remainder 3. Okay, so if I were to use my calculator, 13 times 4 uh is 52, and then plus 3, correct, is 55. Okay, so that means the remainder pattern will just, so remainder 3 means is basically an additional one heart. So that means total hearts in this case. Okay, like just as possible. Total hearts is equal to 13 plus 1 equal to 14. And that's it. So that's the answer to this question. 14 over here. Okay. So remainder. Okay. If have remainder. So I'm gonna put this small. If have remainder. Alright. I'm gonna put like this. Right. So that means this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay. So if have remainder like this. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 6 over here. Okay, so EAD is a triangle. BCDE is a parallelogram. AB is equal to BE. So AB is equal to BE. So I'm going to draw here. So this is an isosceles. Find EAB, right? So for this, EAD is a triangle. All right, so we know there is two of this. So since this is a parallelogram, we know that the opposite angles are 73 degrees, right? Degrees. Okay. And then we can know this as well, right? So if this is 39, right, this is actually also 39. Okay, so this is 39 degrees, right, over here. So I'm going to show you, right? Basically, if you see a zag like this, right, you see a zag like this, that means I call this opposite angles in a way is the same, right? You can get what do you call this? You can get the angles and it will still be the same. Okay, so for this, if you can get this angle, right? If you can get this angle over here, then we can get this angle. Then we divide the angle to 2 and we can get this EAB over here. Okay, so that is what we need to do. Okay, so over here, I think we can just leave the 39 as is. Okay, so to find CBD is 39, sorry, BEBD, right? So I'll just put here angle BED and BCD. Angle BCD is equal to angle BED, which is also equal to 73 degrees, right? So opposite angles in parallelogram is the same. So in this case, BCD is equal to BED, which is 73 degrees. Okay, so then we can find angle. Right, sorry. And let me just copy this. Angle DBE, right? So DBE is equal to 180, right? Minus 73 minus 39. Okay, in this case, 180 minus 73 minus 39. Okay, and this will give us 68 degrees. 68, right, degrees. So I see over here. So that means this over here is 68 degrees, right, like this. Okay, so now we know this is 68 degrees. Then we can find this angle ABE, right? So angle ABE is equal to 180 minus 68, which is equal to let's use a calculator. 180 minus 68. This will give us 112 degrees, right, over here. All right. Oops. Should have. Okay, like this. So we know this is 112. Since AB, okay, so 112. So since uh since AB is equal to BE, that means ABE is an isosceles triangle. Okay, I just need to know how to spell isosceles. Okay, so for that, so we want EAB. So angle EAB is equal to 180 minus 112, and then we divide it over here. Okay, and let's see, 180 minus 112. Okay, and then 68, and then we divide by 2. This will give us 34 degrees. So that's the answer, 34 degrees. All right. Okay, I'm going to put the degrees as well. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 7. So Oliver had 130 centimeters of wire. He used some of it to make the figure below. How much of wire did Oliver use to make the figure? Express your answer in terms of P in the simplest form. So this is part A. So total wire is equal to P plus 2P plus P plus 6 plus 3P minus 4. Okay. So we have P plus P, 4P. So this will be 7P plus 6 minus 4 is 2. No? So that's the answer. 7P plus 2. Okay. Part B, after making the figure, Oliver had P centimeters of wire left. What was the value of P? So we know that Oliver had 130 centimeters of wire. Okay, so the total wire is equal to 130 centimeters. This is total wire used. Okay, so total wire in terms of P is equal to 7P plus 2 plus P, which is equal to 8P plus 2 centimeters, right? This is bracket centimeters. Okay, sure. So I'm going to put here bracket centimeters. Okay, so no need 2 centimeters yet. So lastly, so 130 is equal to 8P plus 2. So this minus 2, 1 to 8 is equal to 8P. Okay, 1P is equal to 1P. So 1 to 8 divided by 8 is equal to 16 centimeters. Okay, so the answer to this is 16 centimeters. That's what we see over here. Right, there you go. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. ABHE and BCDF are rhombuses. CGF is a straight line. Find BGF. So I'm just gonna mark them down. At the same time, I'm just gonna make this a little bit easier to see with a line over here. Okay, so so we have one. So all of them are rhombus. Okay, I don't have to really mark them that much. So we just need to find BGF, which is this. I'm gonna mark this red so it's easier to see. All right, so BGF over here. Okay, so if we can get this angle, right, then we can get BGF. That's what you see over here. Okay, so we know this is 105 degrees. That's what you see over here. And then we have 219 degrees as well. So then we also know that this is 106 degrees. So that means opposite angles for rhombuses are the same. So this is also 106. So I'm going to put this over here just to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, I'm just going to put this here. And then I'm going to write here 106. Okay, and then degrees. That's what I see over here. Okay, so this purple one is 106 degrees. Okay, so with that said, we can get this angle. I'm gonna put this in orange. We can get this angle over here. Okay, first. So essentially, in this case, we can get this angle, right? This, whoops. Okay, let's do this angle first, like this. All right, so then after that, we can get this orange angle. So for this So angle CBG is equal to 360, right? So minus 219 minus 105. Okay, and what will this give us? So let's use our calculator. 360. Okay, I'm going to move it over here. Minus 219 minus 105. Okay, this will give us 36 degrees over here. So this 36 is this green one over here. Okay, so now we know this is 36 degrees. Okay, the next thing is we want to get the orange one. So since we know that this is 105, sorry, this is 106, then we can get the orange one. So that is basically GBF, right? So angle, right? Right. Then GBF is equal to 106 degrees. Sorry, 106 minus 36. This will be 70 degrees, right? Okay, so basically, I want to say is angle, angle CDF is equal to angle CBF, which is equal to 106, okay, degrees. So I see over here. Okay, so now we know that this orange one is 70 degrees. I'm gonna put this over here. And orange. All right, so now the next thing is how to get BFG, right? So angle BFG, another color, right? So BFG is basically half of this over here. Okay, so we so BFG is just angle BFG, right? BFG is equal to 180 and then minus 106. Okay, and then we divide this by 2. Yeah, divide this by by 2. Okay, so 180 minus 106, 180 minus 106. Okay, and then we divide by 2. This will give us 37 degrees, right? Over here. So this is 37 degrees, like this. Okay, so then we can find BGF. So BGF, BG and F, okay, is equal to 180 minus 70 minus 37. And in this case, so 180 minus 37 and 70, right? 37 and 70. And this will give us 73 degrees over here. So there you go. The answer to this is 73 degrees. Okay, so question number 9. The bar graph below shows the type of sandwiches sold at the store in the morning. The number of sandwiches sold is not shown in the scale. Okay, so for cheese over here, I put it the full one because there is the answer behind this. So, but this is not the correct one. Okay, so part A, 25% of sandwiches in the morning was cheese. Draw the bar that shows the number of cheese over here. So number of sandwiches, okay, I'm going to put here as units. Units. Okay, so we can just count lah. This is like 1, so forth and so on. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is 9 for tuna. Okay, you have 9, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So this is 14 for sardines. Then egg is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7. Okay, so we have a total of 9, 14, and 7. Okay, so that means tuna plus sardine plus egg is equal to 9 units per units plus 14 units plus 7 units. Okay, and this will then become Let's use calculator. 9 plus 14 plus 7. Okay, it will become 30 units over here. Okay, so tuna, sardine, and egg percentage, okay, is equal to 100 minus 25, which is equal to 75%. Okay, so from here, that means in this case, 75% is equal to what's this? 30 units. So 25% is equal to 30 divided by 75 times 25. Okay, so divided by 75 times 25. Okay, and this will give us 10 units. So where's 10 units? 10 units over here. So you have this and this. So you see the answer, lah, right? Okay, right, there you go. So this is 10 units. Right. Okay, let's move on to part B. Okay, so the cost of tuna sandwich, a sardine sandwich, and an egg sandwich is $3 to $1 respectively. A total of $248 was collected from the sale of the three types of sandwiches sold in the morning. How many tuna sandwich was sold in the morning? Okay, so what we can do is we can multiply. So, so in this case, tuna total cost is equal to, we have 9 units times 3, which is in a way dollars 27 units. Okay, then we can do the same with tuna, then sardine. So sardine is 14 units. Then we times 2. This will give us $28. Okay, and then last one we have egg sandwich. Total cost would then be 7 units times $1. Okay, and this would give us $7 units. Okay, so that means total cost in units is equal to 27 plus 28 plus 7. Okay, okay, so that means let's put it 27 plus 28 plus 7. Okay, this will give us $62, 62 units. So now we know that 62 units is equal to $200 to 48. So 1 unit is equal to, oops. Okay, so 248 divided by 62. This will give us $4 for. Okay, so so tuna tuna sandwich is equal to 9 times 4, which is 36. So that's the answer. 36. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 10. So it says here Elliot and Fred started jogging at the same time from point P to point R along a 9,000 meters route shown. After 40 minutes, Fred was halfway point Q and Elliot was at a distance behind Fred. So Fred reached point R 10 minutes before Elliot. Both did not change their speeds throughout, so it's constant speed. What was the distance between Elliot and Fred when Fred was at point Q? So first, we know that Fred, okay, Fred total time is equal to, since after 40 minutes is halfway, right? So Fred total time is basically 4 times 20, 40 minutes times 2, which is equal to 80 minutes. Okay, so Fred is 40 minutes over here. Right, so now we want to know Elliot total time is equal to 80 plus 10, which is equal to 90 minutes. Okay, because since Elliot reached 10 minutes after. Okay, all right. Next one is we want to know what's Elliot's speed as well. So Elliot speed is equal to, so speed is equal to distance divided by time. Okay, so which means the distance is 9,000 meters, and then we divide it by time, which is 90 minutes. Okay, and that is 100 meters per minute. Okay, so if you want to calculate, also can, nothing wrong. So 100 meter per minute. Okay, so halfway, so Fred, Elliot at 40 minutes distance, okay, which is equal to speed times time. So speed is equal to 100 meter per minute times time, which is 40 minutes, and this will give us 100 times 40. I think you probably know 4,000. Okay, 4,000 meters, and then Fred at 40 minutes distance. Okay, is basically of halfway point, which is basically half times 9,000 meters, which is equal to 4,500 meters. Okay, so distance between Fred and Elliot at point Q is equal to 4,500 minus 4,000 is equal to 500 meters. There you go. That's the answer, 500 meters. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 11. The first four figures of the pattern are shown below. Then you see all of this over here. Okay, so number of gray circles, number of white circles. So I see over here. So you have 1, 1, 9, 9, 4, 4, 16, 16. So over here, we can say this is 16. Over here, 1, 1, 9, 9. So for the gray circle, I'm just going to draw it out. So you got 1, okay, and then 2, right? So you're just going to copy this, paste it like this, okay, and then paste it like this as well. Okay, so on each side there is 5, okay, and that means this is also 5 as well. So 1, okay, and then 2 over here. Okay, so right, something like this. Okay, all of these are gray circles. Okay, so that means you just need to know that. There you go. Okay, so that means there's 5 at one diagonal angle. So there's 1, and then you can just multiply by 5 itself. So it's 5 times 5 lah. So in this case, this is 25 over here. Okay. All right. So if you count, all right. So 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So over here, what? So that's part A. So part B, what is the total number of gray white circles in figure 250? Okay, so in this case, we have, if you see the pattern, right? Pattern, okay, is the number just 1, 4, 9, 16, and then 25. Okay, so that means pattern is, so just the plain pattern, right, is basically 1 times 1, and then 2 times 2, and then 3 times 3, and then 4 times 4, and then 5, oh sorry, 4 times 4, and then we have 5 times 5. Okay, so that's basically the pattern. Now you just need to figure out total number of gray and white circles in figure 250. Okay, in this case over here. So for this case, we want to look at the even number. Okay, so 250 is an even number. 50 is an even number, right? So we will just focus on even numbers because that's how usually in this kind of pattern will look like. So figure 2, if you were to see 1 gray, 4 white, figure 4, 9 gray, 16 white. Okay, so from here you actually can get the pattern. So the pattern itself is basically equal to, so 1 gray is basically 2 minus 1 times 2 minus 1, okay, bracket gray, and then the white is basically 2 times 2, okay, wait, just 2 times 2 white, okay, right, so that is 1, so this one 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1. So you were saying is the same as the figure 4. So figure 4 is 4 minus 1 gray, and then 4 times 4, okay, so in this case, so that means, right, so that means figure n, that means figure n is equal to, okay, let me just put here dot dot dot, figure n is equal to bracket, I'll just copy this whole thing, okay, n minus 1, so n minus 1 to n minus 1, and then n times n. That's basically it, right? So we'll get the gray and white first, and then we can get a total. Okay, so figure 250 is equal to bracket 250 minus 1 times bracket 250 minus 1. Okay, so then this is the gray, and then the n is 250 times 250 white. Okay, so that means we will just get 250 times 250 is 249. 249, this will give us 62,001. 62 1 1 2 3 1, okay, and gray, and then what's the white is just 250 multiplied by 250, this will give us 62,500. 62,500 white. Okay, so that means total is equal to 62001 plus 62500. Okay, so plus 62001, 12,451, 12,450, 124,501. Sorry, so that's the answer. So that's the total number, 124,501. Okay, let's move on to, okay, now let's move on to the next question over here. Okay, question number 12. Figure 1 shows 4 identical right angles, triangles. Figure 2 is formed from these triangles. The total perimeter of the 4 triangles in figure 1 is 160 centimeter. What is the perimeter of figure 2? Okay, so over here we know that, let me just put this in, okay, a violet color. Okay, so we know that this over here is the same as this. Okay, so 1 over here. Okay, and then we also know that this, oops, this line over here, okay, is also overlapped to this. Okay, so in essence we just need to minus this 2 off. Okay, so basically total parameter is equal to 160, then minus 8 minus 8. Okay, right, so we have overlapped what I call this thing over here. So this is also 8 centimeters in this case over here. So 8, gonna put this as red, and then we have 8 centimeters also here as purple. That's what I see over here. So we have I would say overlapped, this is base and height. Okay, overlapped base. Okay, so I'm gonna put here overlap base. That's what I see over here in this thing. Or height. Overlapped height here. Okay. So wait, is there a better way to say? Okay, great. Like this. Like that. Okay, make it small. Oops. Let me make this smaller. Ooh, oop. Overlap base is this one. Okay. So overlapped length. Base times height. Height lah, right? Because height is the vertical. Overlapped height. Okay, so we have the height over here as well. Height. This is the height. This is the height. Okay. So overlapped height. So to solve this total parameter, then subtract all the overlapped height. So I see over here. Okay. So in this case, that means we have a total of so one overlapped height is equal to 8 plus 8 is 16. So at the same time, we also have a couple of overlap height. Okay, so we have 4. So we have 4 overlapped height is equal to 16 times 4. This will give us, so 16 multiplied by 4, 64. Okay, so parameter is equal to 160 minus 64 is equal to 160 minus 64, 96. 96 centimeters. That's it. Okay, so that's the answer to this. Okay, what is it? Small, medium. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, the area of figure 2 is 240 centimeters. What is the length of AB? Okay, so we know that figure 2 is equal to 4 triangles. Okay, so that means 4 centimeters square. So 4 triangles is equal to 240. One triangle is equal to 240, and then we divide it by 4. This will give us 60 centimeters square. Okay, so with this, one triangle 60 centimeters square, then basically to get a height is equal to area divided by so the base is equal to area of triangle, right, divided by height. Okay, so base is equal to area is 60, and then we know the height of triangle is equal to 8 over here, right? So it's not area times triangle. So half times base times height is 2 times the area of triangle divided by height. Okay, so this 8 centimeters. So from here, you guys have 2 times 60 divided by 8. So base is equal to, which is equal to 60 times 2 divided by 8. Okay, this will give us 15 centimeters. Okay, so I'm just gonna do like this so it's easier to see. Oops, sweetie pop puppy. Okay, so that's the base. So the base is 15 centimeters. Okay, so we know that this over here is 15 centimeters, right? Oops, right? So AB is basically the base minus the height, right? So length AB is equal to base minus the height, which is 15 minus 8 equal to 7 centimeters. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. 7 centimeters. All right, perfect. All right, so question 13 over here. Joshua received an amount of pocket money from his parents each month. Within each month, Joshua spent some of the pocket money that he received for the month and deposited the remaining money in the savings. The graph below shows the amount of money he spent and the remaining money he deposited in savings box in each month. Okay, so part A says from which month onward was there an increase in Joshua's monthly pocket money. All right. So we kind of have to calculate every single amount over here. Okay, so first I'm going to draw all the lines. Okay, so you could see that I've drawn the lines for the amount spent. So first we want to know how many gaps are there. So you can just zoom this in. If I want to count the number of gaps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means we have over here 5 gaps, right? Is equal to, so the first number is $20. Okay, so dollars 20. So one gap is equal to 20 and then divided by 5. This will give us dollars 4, not 5, 4. 4. Okay, so for January over here, okay, I'm going to write down the dollars. Okay, so January over here, he spent one line below 40, so this should be $36. Okay, for January. Can I make it small? Okay, sure. Okay, let's move on to February. February is 20, 24, 28. So this is 28, right? Okay, for March, March is 60 plus 1. So this will be 64. Wow, somebody's very rich. No lah. Okay, it's $64. Okay, so for April, it's 80, 84, 88, 92. So this is $92. Okay, and then after that, May is just $60 in this case over here. Okay, so what about this? This also has the same number of gaps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 gaps, $20 as well. So same thing, but I'm gonna draw the lines as well. Okay, so now with this, let's get how much did he saved or deposited. So same thing, 5 gaps, 20. So one gap is $4. So for January is $84. Okay, and then for February it is 84, 88, 92. So this is $92. Then for March it is 64, 68. So this is $68. Okay. Okay, and then for April it is $40. And then lastly we have May, which is in this case, which is 68, $72. Okay, so now with this, we can calculate from which month onwards was the increase in pocket money. So for this January, it's gonna zoom out a bit because I can't really see. So January, it is a total of 36 plus 34. So 36 plus 34, and this will give us $70. Okay, $70. Okay, so for Feb is equal to 28 plus 92. Damn. So calculator, 28 plus 92. Okay, $120. Okay, and then for March is equal to 68 plus 64. This will give us, let's calculate, 68 plus 64. This is dollars 132. Then from April is 92 plus 40. All right, this should also give us $132. And then lastly we have me. Okay, so me is not 62, me is $60. Okay, $60 in the amount spent, $32. So this should also give you 60 plus 72. This is $132. Okay, from which one was there, from which month onward was there an increase in Joseph monthly pocket money? So the answer to this is, wait, let me double check first. Oh, okay, sorry. For January, it's not 34. This is $84. Okay, I don't know why I put 30. So this should be 84. Okay. We are 36 plus 84. Okay, 36 plus 84. Okay, then this should give us 36 plus 84, $120. Okay, so that means the increase was from March onwards. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's double check your answers. Part B. What was the percentage increase in Joshua monthly pocket money? So we have our, I would say, original, which is dollars 120. Okay, and then increase is basically 132 minus 120 go to dollars. Okay, can use your calculator. Minus 120. This is $12. So what's the percentage? So the percentage increase is equal to 12 out of 120. Yeah, out of 120 times 100, then percent. Okay, I think I have the answer. Okay, this will give you 10%. So the answer is 10%. That's what you see over here. Okay, so next part C. In one of the months, the amount of money Joshua spent was more than the amount of money he deposited. In that month, how much more money was spent than deposited? So spent more, right, than amount deposited. So if you go back here, so this is what he spent plus deposited. Okay, so in this case over here. So allow the pocket money. Going to spend plus deposited. I'm going to put like this. Okay, so spend and deposited. Okay, so spend is 36. So he spent more than he deposited. So one of it was this 92 and 40. Okay, March 64 and 68. Wait, let me double check. Okay, so this should be 64 and 68. Okay, I don't know why I put like this, but same. So, okay. So it is correct. 68 and 64. Okay, so let me double confirm. Spent, save. Spent, save. Spent, save. So 64 and 68. Okay. And then spent 92, save 40, spent 60, save 72. So in this case, April, okay, he spent, April spent is 92, okay, and then, oops, April spent is 92, and then April save is 40. Okay, April saved is 40. So for this is 92, then this is $40 in this case over here. Okay, so how much, right? So I would say Joshua spent more. Is equal to 92 minus 40. This gives us $52. 52 over here. Okay, that's it. Right. Okay, $52. Let's move on to question 14. So it says here, Raj had an empty regular tank P and a cubical tank Q. He poured an equal amount of water into the tanks. After that, one quarter of tank P was filled with water and two-thirds of tank Q was filled with water. The difference in capacity between tank P and tank Q was 5,625 centimeter cube. What was the ratio of the capacity? So part A, what was the ratio of the capacity of tank P to tank Q? So this is what I call the equal fraction concept or same fraction concept. Either way. So what this means is that one quarter of P is equal to two-thirds of Q. So we need to make, I'm going to make this a small one. So make numerators the same. So this is step one. Okay, make the numerators the same. So that means this will be 2 out of 8 of P is equal to 2 out of 3 equal to Q, right? And then step 2, just convert denominators to units. Okay, I'll just put here. All right, step 2, convert denominators to total units. So that means for this P, P is equal to 8 units, and then Q is equal to 3 units. Okay, and then you can solve already. So that means P is to Q, right, is equal to 8 is to 3. Okay, there you go. So that's your answer. 8 is to 3. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Part B. What was the length of 1/8 of 10Q? Okay, so from here, we know the difference in capacity is P and Q. So difference in capacity city is equal to 5625. 5625 centimeter cube. Okay. Oops. All right. So from here, we also know that difference in capacity in units is equal to 8 minus 3, which is 5 units. So that means 5 units is equal to 5 6, not 2 6, 2 5. 5 6 to 5. So okay, I'm just gonna put here 5 6 to 5. So 1 unit is equal to, right? Use your calculator. 5625 divided by 5. This gives you 1125, okay, centimeter cube. So what is Q's capacity? So Q is equal to 3 units. So that means 3 units is equal to 1125 multiplied by 3. This will give us star multiplied by 3. This will give us 3375. 3375 centimeter cube. Oh. Okay, so um we're gonna use this thing called, okay, cube root. So tank find one length of cube is basically cube root of volume, which is equal to cube root of 3375. So we're going to use the calculator. So I need to use the scientific one. Okay, so we're going to cube root over here, right? 3375, and this will give us 15 centimeter. So the answer to this is 15 centimeter. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to question number 15. So the figure below is drawn on a rectangular piece of paper. Its outline consists of a large semicircle and then two identical smaller semicircle and two identical circles. Okay, the area of the rectangular piece of paper is 588 centimeter square. So first question is, what's the breadth of the piece of paper? It's what you see over here. Okay, from here we can kind of see that there are a couple of things. So first is, I'm gonna draw this in red. That we have this over here. Got one. Can split this into two, right? Because we got two similar of the squares. So I see over here. There you go. Okay, so from here, the this rectangular, so paper has 1 2, so 12, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 12 small, what's this called, squares. Okay, so that means 12 squares is equal to 588 centimeters square. Okay, and then one square is equal to 588, and then divided by 12, which is equal to, so 588 divided by 12, this is equal to 49. Let me make it small. Okay, 49. Okay, centimeter square. right? So 1 square side is equal to basically square roots. Do I have? Okay, I don't have. So I'm gonna put the square roots symbol. So basically I'm gonna square root the area, which is basically square root of 49. Okay, 49. So you can use your calculator. Okay, recommend you to use your calculator. So we have square root, which also looks like this, 7. So is this 7 centimeters? So I see over here. So now we know that what do you call this? One square side is 7 centimeters. The breadth over here, you could see, is 3 squares long. So breadth is equal to 3 square sides, which means 3 times 7 is equal to 21 centimeter. Okay, there you go. So that's your answer, 21 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Part B. What is the total area of the shaded part? Total area of the shaded part. Okay, so to get the area of the shaded part, okay, I think one thing we want to do is first we have this thing over here, right? I'm gonna make this red or the color purple, I guess. Okay, so over here it's basically like a quarter circle minus a square, right? Something like this. Okay, I'm gonna bend it a bit like this over here. Okay, so this, right, is also the same as this part. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, pop. Okay, so this thing over here, gonna copy this and paste it over here. So this thing basically fills up this whole thing over here. Okay, so we just make this like this, so at least it's easier to see, right? So that means I can just fill this up over here, and that means like this, right? Okay, so that means this is basically no more. So what I can do is I can just get the whole what do you call this semicircle, and then I can minus the circle, right? And then just get the shaded area. So if I were to draw some more things, basically we can remove this, right? Let me put in this. So remove like that. Okay. So basically we just have this whole thing, whole semicircle minus 2 squares and then minus a semicircle. So I'll write here as well. Okay, shaded area is equal to small semi circle, right? And then we have plus big semi circle, and then minus small semicircle, right? Which is in this case like this, and then minus square, 2 squares, right? In this case over here, right? So okay, so from here I think we can cancel out a bit of stuff here. Okay, so shaded area is equal to small semicircle plus big semicircle minus small semicircle minus 2 squares. So I see over here. It's a lot. Okay, that means we can cancel the semicircle out, which is basically big semicircle, right? Semicircle minus 2 squares. Squares over here, right? Okay, so that means we need to find a big semicircle. So in this case, is this whole thing. So the radius is half. So we know one of the square is 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters. Okay. So this one is 7 centimeters. So that means the radius to this is 14. Okay, so now the next thing is we want to get a big semicircle, which is basically half of a circle times pi times radius. So half of this, basically half, right? The pi is 22 out of 7, right? So times 22 out of 7, then times 14 times 14. Okay, and this will give us, so we will go over here. So 22 out of 7 times 14 times 14. Okay, and then we divide it by 2. This will give us 308 centimeter. Okay, and yeah, centimeter, whoops, square. All right, so now the next thing is um we want to get the area of one of the squares. So area of one square is equal to 7 times 7, because one side is 7. Okay, then 49 centimeter, okay, square over here. Oops. Okay, SQU. No. All right, like this. Okay, so then that means area of two squares, right, is equal to 49 times 2. Okay, 49 times 2, this will give us 98 centimeters square. So the area, shaded area is big semicircle minus 2 squares, right? So shaded area is equal to big semicircle minus 2 squares, which is equal to, in this case over here, 308 minus, oops, 308 minus 98. Okay, what will this give us? 308 minus 98, 210 centimeter square over here. So that's your answer, 210 centimeter square. Okay, that's it. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so question 16 says Mr. Lee bought a total of 38 small and big boxes of nuggets. Each small box of nuggets cost $6.30, while each big box of nuggets cost $9.75. He paid $287.85 after a discount of $4 for every $50 spent. Okay, so what was the total cost of the box of nuggets before the discount? Okay, so in a sense, we know that he paid 2875. So that means for so one discount of dollars for, that means you spend dollars 50. So that means one discount for is also means you paid, or basically in this case 50 minus 4 is 46. So you paid dollars 46. Okay, so number of dollars for discount is equal to, so 287.85, and then we divide by 46. Okay, let's use the calculator. Kind of calculate already. 287.85 divided by 46 is 6.25. 25 dot dot dot, and then we will just estimate it to 6. Okay, so now total cost before discount is basically 28785, okay, plus 6 times 4. Okay, so 287.85 plus 6 times 4. Okay, this will give you $311.85. There you go. So that's your answer. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, part B. How many small boxes of nuggets did Mr. Lee buy? Okay, so this one is the assumption method. So assumption, okay, in this case is because we don't know what's the if there's equal number. Okay, so for this we are looking for small boxes. So step 1, assume that all boxes are big. Okay, so we need to calculate. So one big box is 970. So one big box is equal to uh $9.75. So dollars 9.75. Okay, and then we have how many? 38. Okay, so 38 big box is equal to so 38 times 9.75. Okay, 3705 dollars, 370.5. Is it? Let's double check. Okay, correct. So it's basically just 38 times 9.75 is this. Okay, so that's step 1. Okay, then step 2, find the difference. difference. Okay, so difference is basically total difference. So yeah, total difference, which is basically, so what do we spend this much? So 311. Okay, then minus 3705. Okay, so I mean gotta minus this instead. All right, in this case over here, so 370 minus 311.85. This will give you $50, 58.65. Okay, so that's the total difference. And then we also need to find difference uh, between small and big. Okay, first, okay, which is basically 9.75 minus 3, 9.75 minus 6.3. 6.3. Okay, so 9.75 minus 6.3. This will give us dollars 3.45. Okay, and then step 3. Okay, divide to get to get number of small boxes. So that means which is number of small is equal to 58.65. Then we divide by 3.45. Okay, so 58.65 divided by 3.45. That means number of small one is 17. Okay, there you go. So that's your answer. 17 small boxes. Not 27, sorry. 17 small boxes. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, last one. Question 17. Okay, it says here Abel used sticks to make some stars and Brenna used sticks to make some triangles. Abel used 10 sticks to make each star while Brenna used 6 sticks to make each triangle. Abel made 7 fewer shapes than Brenda and used 10 more sticks than Brenda. Okay, so it says how many stars did Abel make? Okay, so let's write down on how many things or sticks to make each star. So one stick, so one star requires 10 sticks. Okay, and one triangle requires 6 sticks. So it says here Abel. Okay, Abel made 7 fewer shapes than Brenda. So in this case, Abel, or I would say Brenda, has basically Abel plus 7 more shapes. Okay, and Abel used 10 more. Okay, 10 more than Brenda. So Brenda, in terms of that, is plus 10 more sticks. Okay, so in this case, we will just keep this first, right? Because we need to know like the total number of sticks over here. Okay, so we also know that only Abel can create what do you call this? Able create one star. Then what is this? Brenda create one triangle using 6 sticks over here. Okay, so that means in this case we can say let one unit be number of shapes. Okay, because we know for a fact that Abel made 7 fewer shapes than Brenda. Okay, so from this we can say Brenda is equal to 1 unit, right, plus 7 shapes, and Abel is equal to 1 unit. Okay, so this is just shapes itself, right? So the next thing is we want to know the number of sticks. So for this, since we know this is 10 sticks, this is 6 sticks, and it's only Abel. So in that case, Brenda, right, over here, Brenda total sticks, okay, is equal to, right, in this case, create one triangle plus 6 sticks. So that means you have to multiply by 6 here. So 6 times bracket 1 unit plus 7. So that means it's 6 units plus 42. Okay. And then able total sticks is equal to, so she's able to create 10 sticks over here. So that means it's just 10 times 1 equal to 10 units. Okay. So from here, we know that the next one is Abel used 10 more sticks than Brenda. So Abel total sticks, right? So in this case, Abel minus Brenda is equal to 10 sticks. So we can use this to figure out how much is basically 1 unit, right? So Abel is 10 units, right? So Abel used 10 more. Okay, yep, correct. So Abel 10 units minus Brenda, which is 6 units, and then bracket plus 42 is equal to 10 sticks, right? 10 sticks. So 10 units minus 6 units minus 42 is equal to 10. Okay, so that means 4 units is equal to 10 plus 42, which is equal to 52. And then 4 units. So 1 unit is equal to 52. And then we divide it by 4. And this will give us, so let's use our calculator. So 52 divided by 4, this will give us 13. So in this case, how many stars? So since 1 unit is the number of shapes, the answer to this is 13 over here. Okay, there you go. All right, let's move on to the next one. So how many sticks did Brenda use to make all her triangles? So in this case over here, able, right? We know able is equal to how much I have? Equal to Brenda, right? Plus 10. Okay, so how many sticks? So in this case, Brenda is equal to, so Brenda is equal to able minus 10. Okay, and that means for able, we know how much able is. So able uses 10 units over here. Okay, able uses 10 units, so that means this 10 times 13 minus 10. Okay, so basically it's 130 minus 10, and this will give us 120. All right, so that's it. The answer for part B is 120. All right, so that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.